It's Rome and welcome to another episode of Homefront. And you're probably wondering, why do you have such a big grin on your face, Rome? It's because today we got nurses on set. Producer Force, hold up. We need to get a graphic saying nurses on set and any sound effect. Because I am always excited when we have nurses on set. And today joining us, we have Nurse Janelle. Nurse Janelle, thank you for joining us today on Homefront. Today we are talking about BLS. What is BLS?
It is basic life support.
Basic life support.
Yes.
So I know long ago they used to call it CPR,
Yeah.
but now it evolved and it's BLS.
Basic
All right,
life
so
support.
basic life support.
Yeah.
So tell us, in terms of basic life support, have you ever encountered a situation where you had to administer basic life support?
Yes, it's part of my everyday function, in fact. Right?
Sure.
So, yeah.
So you ever met somebody that was unconscious or something and you had to do the procedure itself?
Well, not out on the road, but at work.
At work?
You know, the parents were bringing their child and they're unresponsive. So, of course, you had to spring into action immediately.
So when would someone need to do this procedure?
Right, so when somebody collapsed in front of you, if you find you're walking in the car park, for example, and you see somebody on the ground looking unresponsive, or even in drowning situation, you're at the beach, somebody says somebody drowned, you have to spring into action and give assistance.
And do it one time. Yeah. And what do we look for? All right, you're saying somebody is unresponsive.
Yeah.
To me, I watch my brother sleeping and he's look as though he needs some basic life support to wake him up now. So how would I know he's sleeping versus he unresponsive? Because we calling him, hello, Jason, wake up, boy! And he just not moving.
Yes.
So I thought maybe he needs some basic life support.
No, not at that point. So, of course, it have steps that we have to walk through. And, of course, you would stimulate him somehow, whether you're tapping on the shoulders and shouting into his ear.
Right.
And, I mean, something must wake him up if he's just sleeping. Right?
Okay, so you do those checks.
Yeah,
I mean, I was just joking around with that aspect, but I mean, generally, because sometimes you may see someone and you not know if they're just resting. So, in terms of administering BLS, can someone press too hard?
Too hard on the chest?
Yeah.
Well, it is possible if you don't have the experience or the skill. And, you know, of course, with adrenaline rush, you might be overexcited.
Well, can we do a demonstration?
Of course.
All right, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Sure. So, you might have, like you're pulling in the car park, you see somebody lying on the ground. The first thing you must do is make sure that the area is safe for you to approach. Right? So you don't want other cars to be driving past and you're trying to give help. You can get knocked down, who going to help you? Right?
So that's the first step.
That's the first thing, making sure your environment is safe to approach. Once you have done this, you'll go to the person and you stimulate, hello, are you okay? Are you okay?
Right.
So that is the point. So if at that time now the person is not responding, then you want to shout for help.
Right.
Right, and if no one is nearby, you of course you pull out your phone. You know we love your cell phone, right? So you pull out your phone, you dial 811, which is our emergency number.
811. 811.
811 is the number you want to dial, right? Once you have done that, now you need to assess for any other signs of life. So it will be for checking for a pulse, whilst observing if there's any rise and fall of the chest. I will tell you the person breathing, or any movements of the limbs.
Okay.
Once you make that assessment, if the person is not moving, you need to start your chest compressions, right? So the thing is, with this assessment, you don't want to take a very long time to do this, right? So you have between 5 to 10 seconds. So you're not doing it for less than 5 seconds, but definitely no more than 10.
No more than 10.
No more than 10 seconds. So no signs of life, you want to start your chest compression, right? So your landmark would be in the middle of the chest.
Right, so we are doing this.
Middle of the breast line. So the middle of the chest, between the breast line, right? And then you want to take the heel of one hand, place it in the center of the chest.
I didn't even know my hand.
And then, and then you interlock the other hand.
Right.
So it means that you have to be directly over the person now to give that compression. So you straighten your elbow and you're compressing. Right, and your compression
so that's what I was
giving.
asking. Because look at my size.
Yeah.
If I compressing, could I break this? Could I injure this person in this compression?
If you're not sure how to do it, but the compression depth would be like 5 centimeters or 1/3 the AP diameter of the chest. Right, so you're not going all the way down. Just 1/3 the diameter of the chest, and you're allowing for the chest to recoil.
Okay.
Full recoil, right? So when you're giving these 30 compression, you want to aim for a compression rate of 100 to 120 in a minute, sorry. In a minute, right?
All right, so let me see what I do.
You want to try it out?
Yeah, so.
Okay, so your landmark would be in the middle of the chest, between the breast line, placing the heel of one hand in the middle of the chest itself.
Am I using one hand or two hands?
You're placing the heel of one hand in the middle of the chest.
In the middle of the chest.
Then you interlock the other hand.
Right.
Straighten your elbows. And directly over the patient, you want to compress.
He moving.
He can't be moving at this point yet. So compress the chest to me. Yeah, so you're going, you know the famous Bee Gees song, ha, 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 staying alive, staying. That's it, so that's the rhythm you're going to, yes. Yeah.
Ha, 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 staying alive.
Right, so you're singing this song, you know, partners.
I'm not singing it.
Right, so just bearing in mind, it's 30 compressions, so you'll be counting aloud.
Oh, okay,
Right,
okay.
but
So
that
just,
is more or less
so
the rhythm.
counting, not singing with him.
No, but that just is sort of rhythm you want to have.
The rhythm, and then I counting 30.
30 compressions,
And
right?
I'm telling him it's 30. No, I had to let him know how many.
Well, right now
30.
we can't hear you out. You almost
Okay,
went into the door to
30.
heaven
So
right now, so you have to bring him back.
1, 2, 3, and you go to 30.
30.
And then I
So
blow
once,
in.
yeah, so once you've done the 30 now, I know everybody familiar with giving the breaths, right? But according to the American Heart Association, especially in light of COVID-19, they don't advise giving the mouth-to-mouth resuscitation because you want to minimize the spread or contracting the virus, right? But you know, if you're home in your house, you may choose, if it's a loved one.
Because it's a loved one.
Yeah, you may choose to give the mouth-to-mouth resuscitation.
So how you do that now?
Right, so to do this, you want to perform what they call a head-tail chin lift maneuver by placing the hand nearest to the victim's head across the forehead, taking your thumb and the index finger, and you have to pinch the nose. Right, so you tilt the head here, and then you're using the other hand to do a chin lift. So you're using your thumb, index, and middle finger. Right, and so you're opening the mouth here. So your mouth will now go over the victim's mouth
And you
blow into the...
When do you blow?
So
So
breaths.
doing the...
So after the 30 compression, you're doing this, and you're giving 2 breaths, each over 1 second.
So 30, pull back.
Pinch the
2
nose
breaths.
and
2
2 breaths, right? So ideally, you should always have a barrier device between you and the person, ideally. So it's easy for us to walk around with a pocket-size face mask, because you never know when you will need to do this, right?
Okay.
So I'm just going to show you how it will look all together. Right, so my face shield forming a barrier device, my head tilt, chin lift, and if you look at my mannequin room, you'll see the chest rising if I'm doing it properly, right?
Hey!
And after these 2 breaths, I go back
And
to the
then I'm
chest
going
and
to
pump
give
again.
him, right?
Yeah.
I hear
Right.
this song in my head.
Yes, you hear this song, right? So you have to give these 5 times. 30 compression, 2 breaths, 5 times if you're doing the breaths.
30 compression, 2 breaths. 30
5.
compression, 2 breaths.
5 times.
5 times.
Then after that, you can stop to check for any signs of life again. So it could mean checking for the pulse or observing for rise and fall of the chest or the movement. If there is no signs of life, you continue again, 30 compressions, 2 breaths. If there is signs of life, you would stop your compression, and then you put the person in the recovery position while you're waiting for advanced help.
Because you already called 811.
That's right.
So they should be on their way,
Yeah.
and you're just doing this until they come
Yeah.
to try and keep the person
Yes.
alive.
And if you're not giving the breaths, because remember, it's not advised at this present time, right? The American Heart Association said that you can do hands-only CPR, right?
Right.
So because 99% of the time when an adult collapses, it's because of a cardiac problem. So they want to focus on timely intervention of giving the chest compressions.
So these chest compressions giving a jolt to the heart to help it pump.
Yeah, so we mimic
that
the
blood.
action of the heart to pump the blood to run
So
the
you all heard
circulation,
it.
right?
All
So-
courtesy, Nursey. Thank you very much for joining us. We had Nurse Janelle on the set with us. We learned about the BLS, also known as CPR. And now we're going to head inside our Mindfulness Minute. So take a deep breath in. Breathe in the positivity. Breathe out the negativity.
Welcome to this Mindful Minute. So just sitting comfortably, closing your eyes, and begin to just notice your breath. Sometimes when we're practicing mindfulness, our mind gets distracted. So to help keep our focus on our breathing, we can use a counting technique. So as you inhale, count 1, 2, 3, 4, and as you exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. So just continue with that count, using your own breath as a guide. And remember, you can always come back to your breath if you need to calm the mind, and remember to be here now.
And that was your Mindfulness Minute. And we want to thank Nurse Janelle for joining us on set today.
Thanks for having me.
Teaching us to keep staying alive. Now we're going to jump inside some of your questions that you submitted via video to the same address that you keep seeing on your screen. Send those questions to us. Let's get those answers.
Hey Homefront, Jelani here from Tunapuna. My quick question would just be, can you explain what exactly is herd immunity, please? Would love to hear a response on that. Thank you.
Hi, Jelani from Tunapuna. Thanks so much for your question. Infectious organisms such as viruses spread rapidly from person to person and can cause many members of a community to become sick. If there is pre-existing immunity from vaccination or natural infection, so that many members of the community have this pre-existing immunity, it's very difficult for the virus to spread from person to person. This is what we call herd immunity. Herd immunity also is a way of protecting more vulnerable people in our communities, because not everyone can make a good response, a good immune response. So that when you get vaccinated, you're not only protecting yourself, but you're also protecting the more vulnerable members of your community. Thank you.
A lot of interesting questions today, and as we promised you all, we got the professionals to answer them right here on Homefront. So keep sending in those questions to the email address on your screen. And before we go, of course, we must thank our PED CARES Foundation. I like my fancy, let's see my fancy cup in front. You have to sip with your pinky finger outside when you're drinking from the PED CARES Foundation. I remember the PED CARES Foundation, they support the entire pediatric department, the entire pediatric hospital out there in Mount Hope. So keep donating to them and supporting the kids. Remember, they train those nurses, those doctors, those paramedics, and they partner with the schools, the organizations, both internationally and right here in Sweet TNT. Just for the kids. Thank you all very much. This was Homefront. See you guys tomorrow.